iOS versus Android, gas-powered car versus electric cars, dome versus bullet cameras. What's the difference? Well, honestly, it all depends on the context in which you want to use them and your personal opinion. Maybe you like one more than the other. In today's video, we'll mostly talk about bullet cameras versus dome cameras. What makes them unique and how can you differentiate one from the other in different situations. We also did a video about multiple different cameras that you can see on our channel if you'd like a little bit more knowledge on the different types of camera that is on the market. Also, please leave on the comment below if you're team dome or team bullet. We would like to know your opinion on these two cameras, which one you like more, and maybe give us your opinion on this video too. Alright, let's get right into it. Alright, so before we get into the comparison of dome versus bullet, I'd just like to talk about a common misconception that we have. So, brief segment of history. Yes, dome cameras were in fact made for indoor security way back, and bullet cameras were for outdoor security. But nowadays, honestly, they both work great in either environment. It all comes from their ingress protection level. Ingress protection, it's the IP, when you see maybe in the datasheet IP66, and the number itself, well, the first digit signifies the protection level of dust. So if it's a 6, it means it's a high level of 6 protection. And the second one is about fluid. So let's say it's raining outside, so the higher this number is, the higher your camera is protected for such condition. All right, now let's get to the comparison. First off, what's the difference? The big one, obviously, you can see it right now, it's their form factor. So you have the dome camera that has a glass over it like this, and you have the bullet camera that has a cylindrical kind of a shape and that looks like a bullet. All right, now, what makes them different? Well, this one has a more subtle look. It's more aesthetic. You can hide it in corners if you put it on a ceiling. So it's more discreet. It's something you can hide, but still give a great vision for your area to protect. Well, the bullet camera, on the other hand, act as a good deterrent factor because the camera itself goes out of the wall so people can see it right away when you install it on a wall. Now, what about the mounting solution? Well, honestly, nowadays there's not much difference because there are so many accessories on the market. You can install both on the ceiling, wall, pole, corner mounts. Everything is there. So let's say we install them on a ceiling. What's the difference there? A big one is the lens, putting the lens towards a specific area to protect this area. Some people will say it's easier to do with the bullet camera, simply because when you look at it, the way it's built, you can actually move the camera itself to point it toward the area you want to protect. So it's way easier to install this camera and let's say point toward the right. And here you have a little swivel here that you can actually just unlock to make it easier to move, or you can lock it to make sure that the camera itself doesn't move anymore when it's installed. Now, when we're talking about a dome camera, well, it has a protective glass, so the lens is not accessible right away. You actually have to remove this glass once it's installed and move the lens manually to point it toward the area you want to secure. So for that reason, some people prefer to install bullet cameras simply because it's easier that way. Then we talk about Vandal resistance. Let's say both cameras, so the dome and the bullet, are installed in a ceiling position, so directly on the ceiling of, let's say, this studio. Now, a dome camera with this protective glass is way harder to mess with. So if you want to break maybe the lens, you have to go through the protective glass. And since it's installed higher up, it's kind of hard to reach. And same thing if you want to maybe rip it off the ceiling itself or try to tamper with it. The dome camera makes it really hard for a burglar or any people that want to harm a certain area to mess with. But that's where the bullet camera is not as good as the dome camera. Again, you've seen its shape, so it's easier to kind of hang from this camera. So what I mean by that is if you install it on the ceiling, well, people can just grab the camera itself and pull it down. I've seen in many scenarios people that will just maybe throw a rope or even a chain to pull the camera down. So the way you install your bullet camera, always take that into consideration. If it's an area that things like that can happen, it may not be your best option. Last thing I want to discuss with you, and that's a topic that actually generates a lot of different opinions, and I'd like also know your opinion on this one, is the deterrent factor, especially in the residential side of things. So most people will install dome cameras on the facade of their house or buildings, simply because, as we said earlier, well, the form factor is more aesthetic, it's more subtle, you can hide it in corners, and it doesn't affect the overall look of your house. But think about it this way. If a burglar walks around a neighborhood and look at different houses, and your cameras are well hidden, there's chances he won't see them either. That means that yes, you will catch him after the fact, but you may have to deal with repairing a window or even a door. That's why in residential cases, I mostly suggest to install bullet camera on the house, simply because the deterrent factor is for me the biggest point to consider when doing residential security. Having cameras that stick out of your house, okay, it's not the prettiest look, but people see them. So they will leave your house alone, they won't try to mess with your house in that situation. So again, please let me know what you think about this subject, because again, I've heard a lot of different opinion on that. Maybe you don't like bullet cameras because, as I've stated earlier, it's easier to maybe rip them off. But again, I think in residential situation, if you're not targeted, if it's just a random act, this is the good one to protect your house. So again, guys, if we're comparing a fixed dome camera, a fixed bullet camera, they both have 4 megapixels, the same features. It goes back to in what context you try to install these cameras and your personal opinion and preference if you're the installer. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose, it just has to be the right one for the project you're installing. Like we said earlier, this one can be better if you have a lot of vandalism in this area. This one can be better for ease of installation and creating the deterrent factor. Again, guys, if you like this video, leave us a comment below. Let us know if you're team bullet or team dome. If you are a professional security manufacturer, we can help you create videos, how-to videos, tutorial videos, review of maybe new innovation you have for the market. Well, let us help you and we're going to reach new levels with your brand. All right, thank you guys and see you on the next one.